Size isn't everything, but in interventional cardiology, having a variety of sizes available really does help. Now, we are at Washington, D.C., and a few days before TCT 16, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved the core valve Evolut R 34 millimeter valve. It is the largest transcatheter aortic valve replacement system that is available. And to talk about this, I am here with Mathew Williams, who is an MD, the co-primary investigator for the Evolut 34 millimeter clinical study and chief of adult cardiac surgery and director of interventional cardiology in the heart valve program at the NYU Langone Medical Center in New York City. First, I guess, why a 34?
Yeah, I mean, as opposed to another number.
Yes, obviously, it's getting bigger, and
sure.
There's obviously a need.
Sure. So part of it is obviously looking at the ranges of the anatomies that exist in the population, and the old system had a 31 valve. Which obviously a little smaller than a 34, but it wasn't also part of this Evolut platform. And the nice thing about the Evolut platform is it's smaller profile, so smaller catheter, and it's also repositionable. And so prior to this 34 being available, we still had access to the 31 Classic, as we're calling it. But it was it was a system that was a little more difficult to place. It was a little less stable, and you also couldn't reposition it.
So the technology has advanced. It's now the system delivers the lowest delivery profile on the market. It's 14 French for the three smaller units and 16 French for the new 34 millimeter.
That's correct. Equivalent. It's equivalent of that size. So
it's approximately 1/5 inch.
Right, and it has an inline sheath, which basically so you don't have to put it inside a larger sheath to get it in.
Okay, so let's talk more broadly for a moment. You have reported 30-day clinical outcomes and now 1-year results of the pivotal U.S. trial for Evolut R, correct?
Correct.
So what are you finding?
So we're finding that the results at 30 days were great, and at a year they continue to be fantastic. The stroke rate is low. Disabling stroke rate at a year is only 5.1%, and we're also finding very low rates of perivalvular leakage. In fact, at a year it's less than 4% have moderate PVL. It's very low, and the overwhelming majority actually have none or trace, with the medium amount being just a mild amount of perivalvular leakage.
And these are all patients deemed at high risk for surgery?
Yes, they were either high risk or extreme risk, patients we just wouldn't operate on.
So what's next after this? We have obviously a bigger valve. What's going on next? More studies?
Yeah, so the next platform is going to be the Evolut Pro, okay? And the idea here is the PVL, like I just mentioned, is still an issue. And so the concept with this valve is to put a wrap around it to try to prevent that leakage. So we've taken the pericardium that's on the inside and placed it on the outside, and that's able to conform more to the abnormal areas on the annulus to try to prevent the amount of leakage and reduce it.
And so the whole idea here is to provide more options for a wide variety of patient body types and inner anatomy.
Yeah, so the size certainly increases the amount of patients we can treat with it, and now that the whole portfolio spans, basically what humans have with very, very few exceptions. But the new modifications are to make it a maybe more durable, but a better procedure for patients. And as we're moving into low risk, so one of the concerns has been this perivalvular leakage. And, if you have mild, maybe moderate perivalvular leakage in a 90-year-old, it's less concerning. But as we're moving into the lower risk patients, and we have a good option for them with surgery, we need to try to get rid of some of these issues that are a risk. And so having a wrap, the skirt, to try to prevent the leakage will be important as we move into the lower risk patients.
And for the 34 millimeter that just got approved, you have some data with that too that shows that it's doing really well?
It's all short-term data, yeah. I mean, it's
obviously
only 30-day at this point, but the procedure went well. We didn't have any, you can't, on the number of patients, you can't make, we actually had almost no complications other than a couple of pacemakers, but that, you can't conclude on, but it's very encouraging.
Well, thank you very much, because this is one of the topics here that we wanted to address, and I was glad you were available. And we have a variety of coverage from TCT 2016. Please look around for that. For CardioSource World News and CardioSource World News Interventions, I'm Executive Editor Rick McGuire.